Behind the mask.
To what's had to my boy.
What's good, family? Another day in paradise. You know what it is.
Absolutely, man. And listen, I'm excited about today.
Yes, indeed.
I get a chance to bring in one of my childhood heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, this dude was so iconic when it came to playing the linebacker position. And listen, I'm geek, bro.
I already know it, man.
So can I just go ahead with this intro?
Let's get to it.
All right, let's get to the intro. Today we have, I would like to say former All-Pro, but once you're All-Pro, you're All-Pro.
Yes, indeed.
5-time Pro Bowler,
Mm-hmm.
led the league in tackles for many of years, also a college football Hall of Famer, and last but not least, one of the biggest accomplishments that he has done, he's in the Atlanta Falcons ring of honor.
Yes,
So without further ado, I want to bring in my childhood iconic hero, the Hammer, Jessie Tuggle. What's happening?
Hey guys, it is good to be here. Hey, Tutan Spike, man, you guys y'all been great. Y'all been great. I've been watching you guys. You're doing some great stuff. I followed your career. I know exactly what's going on. I even saw you in high school, man.
Yeah.
Before you became a star.
See, I remember that though, because your nephew Antonio.
Right. Antonio was he was in for Griffin High, and I go down. I probably was my 7th year too, and I go and I see his linebacker. And this guy is making play after play after play. And my brother's with me, and I said, "Hey man, this backer here gonna play in the league one day." And you go down to Auburn and become a 1st-round draft pick. How else? You don't get no better than that, right?
It's so fitting.
Full circle.
I wish you would have told me that.
I know, right?
Because I played the game, obviously idolizing some of the guys who came before me yourself. And what made it so cool was because, like, you never do know. And I remember in the Georgia-Florida high school All-American game, you were there.
Yep.
And I saw you, and I remember my dad used to call me Key Man. He was like, "Hey, Key Man." He was like, "You know who that is?" I was like, "Yeah."
Awesome,
I was like, "Yeah, Dad, I know who that is."
Right.
That's the Hammer right there. You know what I mean? But
Just
just the impact that you left on the game, man. So I appreciate it. And it's a joy to be able to have you in the BTM studios today.
Awesome. It's good to be here, man. For you guys to invite me down is awesome to me. Growing up right here in Georgia and still living here, after all the years of playing, for the Falcons and, with a son playing for the Falcons here now, it's like a full circle. It's a full circle. And people get to see and have the opportunity to understand, what, a person like myself and like you and like what we really, who are we? What we really go through, what go through our mindset. And that's what makes sure it's so special when you do a podcast like this.
Yeah. 14 years you played in the game. And, bro, that's a long time. And for me, I remember just seeing you come up through, even when I came in back in, hell, I can't remember, but don't want to tell my age. But
1998.
98.
Just know it, yo.
But like, what was the secret to your longevity?
The biggest thing when I look back now, I think there's no substitute for hard work. I felt that if I worked hard in the off season, in the gym, right before the season started or right before training camp, kept myself in shape year round. And you got to understand now we have the off-season programs, some of these programs, but there was no off-season program when I was playing. So you really worked out on your own, and try to keep yourself in shape. And I felt if I stayed in shape year round, it'd give me an advantage, by the time the season started. And that motivated myself. And I always wanted to be the most fit, the best fit, the strongest guy on the team. And, so when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I was declared the strongest guy on the team. I'm a 525-pound bench presser. And at that point, I had to have something to give me an edge. I'm 5'11", right? So, I played under 230, about 228. And it helped me a ton, though. It helped me to take on big guys like you, too, because it gave me that leverage and power underneath. And it was a lot of hard work and time and just motivating yourself to get better. You want to win, but to win, I got to make myself better to make my team better. So it was that concept.
Man, and 500-something pound squats.
Yeah.
Is that how you got the nickname the Hammer?
The Hammer, man, listen, the Hammer was unbelievable because, first of all, I was a natural hitter. I didn't fear contact. I probably would have been suspended a few times already this year.
Yeah, with
the new rules. But it became natural for me to hit people and run through people, and I wanted to do it all the time. And so a lot of my, when you come in, you're undrafted and you're from a small school like Boston State, and you don't have that history around the other players, playing in the SEC or ACC. But one thing you gain, though, when you start hitting people, you gain their respect.
Tracks.
And that point, I think I was like, it became so natural to me to explode and run through people. And then a guy say, man, this dude hit like a hammer. And that nickname just stuck with me.
See, and clearly, because I remember, like, I just really, it's two linebackers on the show today.
Right.
And I really like this. So, like, tell him what you used to do to these offensive linemen, though.
Hey, stay low, baby. Stay low and use leverage.
You would have shortened Tutan neck, though, when
Yeah, I tell you, the crazy part about being a linebacker, I speak from a linebacker perspective.
Man,
a linebacker perspective, we knew that we couldn't outpower you guys.
Right.
So our goal was to use leverage, and I knew that I was 230. I don't know if you played 280. I played against guys 300 plus. Yeah. So we had to stay low and use power angles, and I felt like I got really good at it. I had to be good at it to survive in the NFL, but trust me, I got a lot of respect for offensive linemen.
Yeah, he talking about shortening somebody. You ever went against Larry Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah, Spice.
Right.
Yeah, Larry Allen took Spice lunch, so he talking about shortening people. That
didn't work so well. I wasn't the first one, and I damn sure wasn't the last.
Look, I can recall early in my career, there's a guy named, I'm like terrible with names, but I would never forget this guy's name. His name was Tom Newberry. Played for the Los Angeles Rams at that particular time, and he was a guard, and he gave me more than I can handle the entire game. So my linebacker coach, instead of just dogging me out the whole year, when we're watching the game tapes and saying, this is what you can't do, this is what you can't do, that's why you got beat, he goes, listen, in this league, you're going to learn it. You're going to find some guys who's better than you, who's stronger than you, but you need to learn from that. So next year, you'll be ready. And the year after that, you'll be ready. And that made me a better person because I was expecting to get, because I got beat up that game. I got pushed around, knocked down. I got beat up. And I was like, the coach going to kill me. They're going to watch the tapes and kill me. But he gave me an encouragement speech and said, it's a learning lesson. So you get better from that. And that really helped me trying to mentally get over the hump that there are some guys out there who getting paid too. That's a little better than you as well. So, so NFL is humbling because, it's a unique, you have to obviously be a unique athlete to play in the league, but there's a lot of great athletes, and it made me respect the offensive line position, the center, the guards, and the tackles because those guys, man, they brought the lunch.
And you talk about being unique with the mindset. Undrafted coming out of Valdosta State. Like, how did that mindset transcend going over to the NFL that really helped you become the player that you are, that you were?
Right. I agree because when you're undrafted, you're 5'11", you play at Boston State, never played on TV. It motivated me into a sense that I got a chip on my shoulder now. I got a chip because I got to prove not only to everybody else I can play, I got to prove to myself I can play. And that motivated me even more because I wanted to go out there each and every week training so I can be in position to try to show people that, no, I not only can make this team, I can be one of the best players on this team. So it sort of motivated me. I come from Griffin High School with Griffin Bears, and we had some great talent there. And I was the MVP of that team. I could go to Valdosta State, Division II school that didn't have a winning program until I got there. And I was MVP of that team. But it didn't mean nothing when I got to the Atlanta Falcons because we got the high-round draft picks, you know what I mean? And we got this organization that I've been watching guys like Joel Williams and Buddy Curry and so many other guys who have been legends here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And so I was starstruck. Literally, when I saw Buddy Curry at one point had almost 200 tackles in 1 year, and I'm at home in Griffin, Georgia, watching him on the TV with my dad, right? And now I'm standing right beside Buddy, and I'm thinking to myself, this is the same guy I used to watch 4 years ago. Now I'm playing right there with him. Yeah. And then once I started elevating my game to match his game, I sort of excelled his game a little bit. And he will even come up to me and give me compliments about different things I could do. but you had no idea that I was doing it. You know what I mean? When someone who's a veteran say something positivity to you, it motivates your confidence, and you just you feel that you can just go out there and make plays you thought you couldn't make at one point. But it was awesome, being a part of Falcon at that young age, and that's when I really knew that I could do something special, being an Atlanta Falcon, and it worked out pretty good for me.
And you had a stellar career, but in that stellar career, we all know there's that one welcome to the league moment.
Oh, yeah.
You might have got baptized. You might have got humbled. And what was Jessie Tuggle's welcome to the league moment?
Hey, too, I tell you right now, man. Okay, the moment I can remember that really brings it back some great memory. It was on a Monday night. And the Falcons, we didn't play on Monday night much. So it was on Monday night. John Madden was doing the game. Mm-hmm. And this time I had made one Pro Bowl. So, I'm feeling good about myself. And we're playing the Cowboys, and they had a guard named Larry Allen. Mm-hmm. Larry Allen was my
Y'all both had.
Hey, listen, Larry Allen was the real deal. You play Larry?
Yeah.
And listen, I'm telling you, man, when you get a guy who's 6'5", that can bench press almost close to 600 pounds, squat close to 800, 900 pounds, but still run a 4.7 40, at 330 pounds. And he really tattooed me, man. This when I knew I was in trouble.
What did he do to you, Coach?
Listen, this when I knew I was in trouble. When you can see, we're at the Georgia Dome, right? And when you can see the top of the dome, that means you have to be lateral, right? So when you got hit, when I got hit, and I'm looking up and I can see the top of the Georgia Dome, I'm like, wow. And then I come home the next day, you come home, you like to watch our tape that we watch as players, but you don't want to hear the TV version because you got a legend like John Madden calling the game. And John Madden literally said, "You won't believe this right here. Watch all-pro linebacker Jessie Tuggle get crushed by Larry Allen. This is unbelievable." I'm like, okay. So I thought that was pretty cool. If it had to happen, I'm glad it happened on Monday night, and I'm glad that a legend like John Madden said it, and everyone around the league has so much respect for Larry Allen and the Hall of Famer that it was a moment in time that I wish I can forget, but I can't forget.
Like, yeah, I want to forget that time when I ran up on him too, though. But like you talked about some of the linemen, but what about some of the running backs though? Because you came out, your era, man. You had Barry Sanders. Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, greatness, sweetness. Like, so out of all of the running backs, Eric Dickerson, all of these guys, another guy, Eric Dickerson, ED, he came on the show too as well.
Great guy.
Out of all of the running backs that you face, like who was that guy to where you like, he really left an impression on me that I'll never forget?
When I look back at all the running backs I had the opportunity to play against, I feel pretty fortunate because a lot of the guys are, if not all of them, Hall of Famers. Now, Sweetness, he retired the year before me, so I didn't get the opportunity to play against him. But playing against Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Eric Dickerson, Barry Ward, Christian Okoye,
the Nigerian
nightmare. All
he wasn't tough though, was it? Was he tough?
What? Yes. At 6'1", 240, yes, he was tough. Listen, but the crazy part is, when you think about Eric Dickerson, he was about 6'2", 6'3", right? And the Christian Okoye was probably 6'1", but the toughest guy was Barry Sanders. Listen, Barry at 5'9", maybe 5'10", was probably the most difficult running back I think I ever had to hit, because this is one of the most elusive guys that, and back in my era, it was always, we played 21 personnel, which is a tight end with 2 running backs and 2 wide receivers. And but I think Detroit were probably one of the first teams that really just kept Barry in the backfield, how they playing today with one back. But still, it didn't matter because he was so elusive, it was unbelievable. But I do recall times when they would get in short yardage and they'll bring the big fullback in. And back in those days, it was like straight ahead football. The ISO is coming, right? Yeah. Not only I got to beat the ISO, a fullback that weighs 245, I got to beat the fullback and tackle the most elusive guy in the entire NFL. All right, so I had some great plays against Barry, and Barry got a special coming up soon, and I don't think you're gonna see too many of the Falcons highlights because I think I played pretty well against Barry.
Hammer, we shouldn't see you on there. I don't expect to see you on there.
But I will say though, he was incredible. You know, these guys didn't break records for reasons. Emmitt Smith was an NFL leading rusher for a good reason. He was the best probably ever played. And Barry retired early. Those two could have pushed for that record. I feel so fortunate to play against Eric Dickerson. These are guys who are legends. Even now, when they having commercials or showing, just their highlights and everything else, I still get goosebumps because I felt like they helped build the NFL. I mean, their star power and their athleticism, their gift they had to play running back and to play against them on Sunday, trying to prepare against them was incredible. It was just so many teams that was back in the day that was really good. Almost like the San Francisco 49ers when I played against them, they might have right now when I look back, they might have I think they had 5 Hall of Famers on that team. But you didn't know it at the time, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you see why they was good at that time. And to be a part of this history of the 80s and the 90s playing pro football, it was an awesome experience for me. And it's something that I cherish the rest of my life.
When you look at the game now compared to when you did play, how much has the game changed at the linebacker position? And do you think you would still have that type of success that you had then?
That's a good question. I mean, that is a great, great question because the game has changed. I mean, obviously it's a passing game now.
Yeah.
I think I probably have, in my career, I have over 2,000 tackles. Actually, 2,065.
Okay.
And and you're a linebacker, you keep up with that stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right, so, but there's no possible way that, after 14 years in the league, that I could possibly have made that many tackles with the offense they run today. And probably my style of play has been physical, hard-nosed, very aggressive. It probably wouldn't even work today because the game is such a passing game that I probably had to redo my technique or figure out how I can cover running backs out the backfield better. But the game has changed. And then I consider myself a hard hitter, a physical hitter, and I probably got a lot of fines for it in the league now with the way I played. But no disrespect to any of the linebackers now, they're not trained to hit like way we used to hit. We used to hit and run to the ball and just give it everything you have at any cost. You just give your body up at any cost. Whereas now, you got the salary cap, you got to think about injuries, you got to think about not getting a fine. Hey, is the quarterback yeah, that's right. Is the quarterback going to slide or he's going to continue to run? Because the linebackers now can't hit the quarterback, really, because you don't know if he's going to slide or get hit. And you think about penalties. So the game have changed. There's no disrespect. I think a lot of time as an older player and a guy that played in the 80s and the 90s, we also like to always compare. Could that guy made it when I played, or could I have made it when he played? But I think that's the biggest thing. That's why these shows are so great, and the fans get to hear it from us personally. That every generation thinks that generation was the best, and no one else could beat it. It happened in all sport: baseball, football, basketball, but I have a lot of respect for the players that play now. I don't think that they're a better athlete overall than we were. But at the same time, we did what we had to do at that particular time. And that to be hard-nosed, be physical, and just play and learn how to actually read and react to plays. And I think that was a big part, as a linebacker, as watching the tapes, watching the triangle, seeing the guard, seeing the tackle. Is he in the light stance, in the heavy stance? Something that would give a key off that give us I always tell people I didn't guess, but I anticipate a lot from film study. So I can accelerate to the ball as fast as I can accelerate. And even during the seasons, I used to have other players from different teams who would ask me during the game or even after the game. He said, Tuggle, I watched you during the game. How did you recognize that play so fast? And you remember the counter OT? The counter OT was a big play back in the 80s and 90s. And I used to recognize that play before they can get started and go in the backfield and make the tackle. And I used to have guards and tackle ask me at the end of the day, hey man, just give me did I give it away? Yeah. Was my hand too light? I'm just trying, not for you, but for next week, I'm trying to get ready. So I thought that was a compliment, coming from your peers when they know you're doing something that is a little different than someone else is doing it.
What back would you say that you really completely, you anticipated that thing
Right.
and you saw it and you was like, I'm going to give him the damn business right here.
That's a good question. I think, I do recall playing at Georgia Dome, and this particular time I was mic'd up, and we were with NFL Films, and we're playing against the Jets. And I can't think of the running back name. I met him years later because he's a friend of mine. He's a friend of Victor Green's, who's played DB for the Jets, and he's a running back that played for the Jets. And he happened to be the guy that I hit, and I absolutely let loose. You know what I mean? It one of the better hits that I had, when I'm been videotaped live. And I do recall after the game, the guy who's doing the filming for the NFL Films came to me and said, Jesse, we make a lot of guys. We make a lot of guys. We want to get the best plays, but we hardly ever, although they're a great athlete, we hardly ever get that play. He said, today, we got that play. And I thought that was pretty cool, man. That was pretty cool.
And you don't remember who it was? You don't want to embarrass him.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Listen,
no lies in the lounge, man.
Yeah, I know, man. He's going to kill me when he see me. Because I played with golf with him a few times. And I don't want to mention his name, but at the same time, it was a Jet player, okay? It was a New York Jet player.
We go run this back. We go find out, man.
All right.
But man, you talking about golf? Takeo, our audience knows Takeo loves golf too. A lot of guys struggle with finding that competitive edge after they retire, right? Making that transition. What are some of the things that you do to make sure that your transition from the league was a successful one?
All right, that's a good question. The first part of playing an NFL player, I think, because you made it to the league. I played 14 years. You got to understand, we started playing kids, right? We started playing kids. You go to junior high, you go to high school, and boom, you become a star in high school and college, NFL, and now we've been playing so long. And now when I retire, I was 35 years old, and I used to have dreams. Dreams I need to be somewhere. I've been say my first month or first year I retired. I must have had the multiple dreams. I need to be somewhere. I missed a meeting. You know what I mean?
It's crazy, right?
It's crazy because it's so in tune in your brain and your mind. You need to be somewhere and become a part of your identity. As a professional athlete. But we're still men as well, and that families and do regular stuff that everybody do. As far as like raising kids and going to the grocery store for your wife. I started doing all the routine stuff. All the routine stuff. And then I picked up golf. Okay. And I think golf sort of helped me a ton. It's brought that competitive edge back to the table. And since I wasn't a golfer first, I had to learn the game. And it took years and years, But it was so fun to me that when I hit so many bad shots and I would hit a good shot, it always brought me back. And I think each and every year I got better and better. I probably would never be a single-digit guy, but I enjoy I'm a 13. I enjoy it, right? And I have a lot of fun, competing with my friends each and every weekend, playing in golf tournaments. It's a blast. So it's that competitive edge. That's what, because there's nothing can replace being. I played for the Falcons at that time in the Georgia Dome. And you got 75 to 80,000 people, and they introducing the starting lineup. And Jessie the Hammer Tuggle comes out. You don't get that feeling nowhere else.
Nowhere.
You get it nowhere else.
I went running with the Bulls this summer trying to get it.
Right.
It was close.
It was close, right?
But I survived to tell about it.
Hey, there you go. Listen, I tell you what, man, you're a good man. I don't know if I could have made that. Man. You're a good man.
Sure you could have.
This joke out there running and, linebackers, y'all do the bag drills. And,
exactly. That helped you a ton, right?
No.
I thought you were pushing the Bulls off.
No. What had happened was somebody got in my way. Right. But no.
Oh my! Here goes the story too. Right?
You talked about like a blast, like having a blast playing the game, and it's hard to reenact that feeling that you get, opening day or whenever you have camaraderie with the guys. But you got to give me some insight on that blast you had. Yeah. Listen, man. Having the opportunity to walk up to the stage at the draft and pick the draft pick for the Atlanta Falcons, but then also to find out like, man, this my seed I'm bringing to this team that I came here and earned the name Hammer. How did that feel?
Takeo, I'll tell you this right here, man. And it wasn't staged or planned. And, my oldest son, Justin, was already in the league. He was like in his second year with Houston Texans.
Yep.
Okay, so my youngest son is playing at Clemson. But he's a star player at Clemson. I mean, he's a star player. Cool. All right, so during all the, during the lead up to the draft, he probably thinks he's going to be a second, third, fourth rounder. You know what I mean? So, so we're in day 2 or day 3 when they do the late rounds. All right. So anyway, so the Falcons already told me that you're gonna do round the 5th round. Come downtown to Atlanta. We're in the College Football Hall of Fame, and we had chose you to do the Falcons 5th round. So I think that was probably at that time it was early. I'm just hanging out, playing cards with the guys in the back. To your turn, get on stage. Then all of a sudden, everybody kept rushing up to me. Hey, Tuggle, the Falcons got a trade, man. They just traded in the 5th round. They're gonna pick a guy. You need to go on stage right now. So I grabbed my little jacket, man. Walk on stage.
They was like, hurry up.
Yeah, get on stage. We about to do this right now. So I get on stage, and I said, okay. I said, listen, man, do we know who it is? And no, we don't know yet. But the Falcons they're on point right now. They about to pick a guy. Then all of a sudden, I said, okay, listen, man, the guy telling me we got 30 seconds. Please tell me the name so I know how to pronounce the name, all right? I want to make sure it was like a name I cannot pronounce and look crazy in front of all my friends and peers, right? Because I know they watch it. So I'm like, make sure I can rehearse the name so I can make sure I get it right, blah, blah. Then the guy goes, yeah, it's a kid out of, in the clips, it's Grady Jarrett. I said, so I turned, this guy had about 15 more seconds. I said, look, man, stop playing because, this serious, man. Tell me the guy name for real. Stop playing with me. Then he told, no, serious, man. They're gonna draft the D tackle, Grady Jarrett, out of Clemson. I said, listen, it's my son, right? And then he said, Jessie, I'm not kidding. That's what we're gonna draft. So I gathered myself for a minute, like, okay, we're gonna draft my kid, right? And this was a particular stage. At this point, we had another young female who had won a contest who actually gonna be on stage with me, and I'll see the name, and she's gonna I'm gonna announce it, but she's gonna help me do it too. But I was so excited, man. I almost did before I told her. You know what I mean? Good thing I did because you don't get that moment back. You know what I mean? It'd have been a terrible moment for her because I'd have been pushing ahead. So I was like, are you absolutely serious about to draft him? And sure enough, man, the 5th round, they drafted my son, Grady Jarrett. And I thought it was pretty, it was humbling because, I played 14 years here for the Falcons, a 5-time Pro Bowler in the Ring of Honor and all this kind of stuff, but it wasn't planned, it wasn't staged. They needed a D tackle, and they got him. And needless to say anything else, that he's been everything and more, that he could possibly produce for the Atlanta Falcons by being a low draft pick, almost like how I came as a free agent. You get a chip on your shoulder and you want to show people that, hey, listen, you missed out on me. You missed out on something by not choosing me early, but I want to show you what I can do. So that was the biggest thing that I think he had a chip on his shoulder. Unfortunately, his house had caught fire the night before. And it was just so many things that was going crazy, but, it just worked out for the good. So everything worked out for the good. And now, 8-9 years later, you can see what he means to the Falcons. He don't see so many players come and go. Just like I did, I was like the long person on the team that stayed the longest tenure. And he's that type of guy now, and he's doing it right here in the city, where, my jersey and the Ring of Honor, all the accolades that I've achieved over the years will happen right here in Atlanta, and now my son get to live through it. So it used to be to a point where people would say, you're Jessie Tuggle's son, right? And there was a lot of controversy about everything, but everything is good. Everything is great. My kids, they love each other. My wife loves Jarrett. It's just a great situation, for everybody. But for a long time in Atlanta, though, it's almost like, let's see, Jarrett said, you're Jessie Tuggle's son. And now, as the years go by, they say to me, you're great Jarrett dad, right?
Yeah.
It's funny how time changed. Now he's the star player.
takes
you
the
know what I'm
throne.
saying? And it don't bother me at all. And I'm real proud of him, for all the things that he accomplished over the years. And it's been good, and particularly to be right here and in my home state. And everybody just, it's a big family, and we all get along great. And it just awesome how, Jessica and my daughter and Justin cheer for him and they cheer for each other. But I will say the best thing that for me as a parent and as a football player, had to be 2016, where the Houston Texans was playing the Atlanta Falcons in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It might have been George Jones Stadium at the time. And at halftime, on the second quarter, they wanted to honor me in the second quarter. Not at halftime, it was like 2 minutes before halftime. So they brought me out to the 30-yard line, and they played my highlights for like 20 to 30 seconds. And then I got my oldest son to the left of me, and I got my youngest son to the right of me.
Yep.
And that moment alone, I think, and I don't even know they know that, but that meant so much to me because to have both of my boys
because the Falcons was playing against Houston, so Justin was there.
Yeah.
Grady was obviously
there. And that was Justin, my oldest son, first time coming back to Georgia to actually play. Because he was out in Texas, and he played college ball in Kansas, at Kansas State. So it was a big moment for me, and I'm glad the Falcons recognized that and honored me right at the second quarter, and it was like silence for a minute because they shut the lights down a little bit, and everybody they're not in the locker room, they're on the sideline. So you got the Houston Texans on the sideline, then you got the Atlanta Falcons on the sideline, and they showed my highlight, and it lasted for probably 2 minutes, you know what I mean? But that was a great 2 minutes of my life, and it meant a lot to me to see my kids out there competing at this level.
Yeah. What about Jessica? What did
Jessica
she
is my baby. I tell you right now, Jessica is a daddy girl.
You light up when we talk about Jessica.
Yeah, I tell everybody, I said, Justin's super athletic. Jarrett, super athletic. But I think Jessica was the best athlete. Listen. That daughter of mine is unbelievable. She won a state championship in the 100-meter hurdles when she was her senior year in high school, but she didn't even go to college to run track. She went to college to play tennis. And she was the only African-American girl on the tennis team at Valsa State. And she at Valsa State University when she was there. And then her senior year, she won homecoming queen. And I thought that was so cool. But I'm even more proud of her now because she went to Syracuse for 2 years. It cost me about $100,000.
Yeah.
But Syracuse for 2 years for her master and got her master, and now it's about giving back. So she works with adolescents, and she's a mental therapist and adolescent young adults who are having difficult times in their life, and she's the person that can get them going back regular. And so when I look back at all my kids, I'm just proud of all of them. I'm so proud of all of them for everything they accomplished. And it's cool to still be still here in Georgia, still here in Atlanta, healthy, watching them be the best they can be in their own right, in their own profession. And it's been great. Even Justin, he only played 3 years for the Houston Texans, but he played 5 years up in the CFL, wins a Grey Cup. It's just awesome because it's not many people can say, you had two sons that 1 year, one is playing in the Grey Cup and the other one playing in the Super Bowl. Because when Jarrett was playing in Super Bowl 51, 18 years after I played in Super Bowl 33, Justin was playing in the 106 Grey Cup in Canada. So at that point, I'm like, as a dad, what else can you ask for, right? So and for everybody to be healthy and everybody doing well, it's been great, man. I love it here in Atlanta, and have friends and people ask me all the time, hey, if you had a choice, what state would you want to live in? I can't think of nothing other than Georgia because I've been here all my life. So it's been cool and meet some great people. I think, despite you and I was talking earlier about how many great athletes come out of the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
And that's not knocking New York, now, okay?
It is knocking New York. We need to apologize for that.
Listen, we historically have had some of the best athletes to come out of New York.
All right,
Michael Jordan was born in New York.
Wait a minute.
Hold on, you can't be reaching out. What is this guy doing?
It's just a football show.
It is a
football show. We are talking about football.
I'm saying some of the best athletes. Michael Jordan was born in New York, man. Is he not the GOAT?
He's the GOAT. I'm not going to take that away from you.
Case closed.
Well, since he pulled that one on us, we're going to let him have that, okay?
We'll let him have it.
All right.
We'll let him have it. He's feeling left out over there.
But you do some amazing things in the community as well, man. So talk about some of your philanthropic efforts, some of the things that mean.
You know what? It's been great to give back in the community. And since I'm from here, from Georgia, I can remember times when my wife was real big of Make-A-Wish Foundation where, and I was an Atlanta Falcon player at this particular time. And we probably did it for like 6 to 7 years in a row. And just see a kid be granted a wish, put that terminally ill. And that bring you back perspective. Because at this particular time, my kids were young, you know what I mean? And I don't think I can imagine, what if that was my kid, you know what I mean? And I wanted them to experience and their family to experience something great. So I got a lot of joy out of that. I done played in so many charity events, man, where when they're playing golf, helping different charities. One of the most recent events that I did was a reach out program for Latino kids, and a buddy of mine who lives near me, we play golf together, and they were raising funds to help a lot of Latino kids in the community in Gwinnett County. And it was really a great feeling for me again because they had this big function at this private golf club. And I wasn't expected to say nothing that day. And I'm sitting on the front table with my buddy. And all of a sudden he said, well, we have one of the Atlanta Falcons' most famous player here, Jessie Tuggle. Hey, Jessie, why don't you say a few words?
I'll put you on the spot.
And it was so cool because my wife goes, at first she goes, do not give him the microphone. He would not put it down. So, but it turned out it was really cool. I just thanked everybody for being there. And obviously, rise up for the Atlanta Falcons. But it was just trying to be so natural, and it turned out to be so great. But it helping so many young kids, and we forget how fortunate we all are, right? So that helps a ton. And then plus, I'm only 40 miles from Atlanta to Griffin, Georgia, my hometown. It's 40 miles south. I got a mother who's dealing with dementia right now at 83 years old. That give me the opportunity to go home, see her, spend time with her, share time and fellowship with some people I went to high school with. My wife family's there, and we give a lot back to the charities there. And we still belong to a church at Mount Zion, in Baptist Church in Griffin. So being here so local, you still have that local connection. The church that my wife grew up in, she was 3 years old. I joined the church when I was 25, and we got married there. And we've been married for 33 years. And we still remember that same church. It's like that kind of stuff that if I didn't live here in the state, I wouldn't have that history, So I've been so fortunate to go and see my high school coach in a golf tournament that he retired 20 years ago, but we'll sit and talk about when I played when I was 18 years old. You see what I'm saying? And I just went to our 40th high school reunion where I met so many friends and got to hear their stories about their families when they all watching me, from a distance, and they're telling me how successful I've been and how proud they are to see me. But yet, in my heart, I'm thinking the identical same thing watching them. I said, no, I'm so proud of you. Look at what you have accomplished. Look at the family you've raised. Look at everything you done did with your life. And it means that much to me to share that, because it's just not saying it. I mean, it's truthful. There's so many. At this time and age when kids and young adults and people could do so many bad things, they're doing so many good things, you have to recognize that. So that's the kind of person I am. I like to give back. I don't take nothing for granted. I don't weigh one way or the other as far as I don't weigh your success or your success compared to my success. We're all successful. Yeah. We're all alive. We have families. We're all doing great. And that's what makes me happy, and that's the kind of person I am.
As a player who achieved so many great accomplishments, whether or not if it's all pro, going to the Pro Bowl numerous years, what advice would you give to younger players entering the league today?
Be humble. understand that nothing worthwhile comes easy. Anything worthwhile takes a lot of hard work. Don't get caught up in now. With social media and everything is like now. It's instant. Learn to put the hard work in, and it's going to pay off later for you. Other words, there's no shortcuts to become successful. It don't matter if you drafted in the first round or the last round. If you have that, if you stay humble and understand that you have to put in the work to be successful and to continue to be successful year in and year out, you give yourself a high chance to play a long time in the league. And because it doesn't come easy. I mean, you guys know that. But for a young player who looking for the fame and the fortunes, that'll come. That'll come, right? Once you just put the time in. Put the time in as far as in the weight room, the off-field stuff, in the classroom, learn the game. NFL is totally different than college, right?
But the tough part to that is like you got NIL deals out now.
I agree.
And so which makes it even hard. Like, well, I know you telling me that like my story is my story. Their story is their story. Yeah. But like, what words could you really drive home to make somebody realize like what's for you is for you?
You know what? I would tell you that's a good question because I know what a lot of the young players are probably thinking who's out there watching this or seeing us like, hey, man, you didn't have an opportunity to make it $500,000 or $1 million when you was in college or whatever. But you're fortunate. I would tell them, first of all, they're fortunate, but don't get to the point where you take it for granted because it easy come, easy go. It's about long term. It's about long term. So think about if you're that athletic, if you're that talented, and you've been that fortunate, think about producing it even more. Think about more. Think about setting goals, and when you accomplish that goal, set another goal. But not a goal you can't reach, though. Set a reachable goal over a certain period of time. Reach that goal and instantly set another goal. And once you start setting goal after goal after goal, and you're building confidence every time you reach that goal. Mm-hmm. If you come in the league as a freshman, as a rookie, and say, I'm ready to be a Hall of Famer, that goes too far down the road. Your goal should be, hey, I want to make this team, or I want to be a starter on this team, or I want to help this team win. Okay, and now once you achieve those goals, the fortune and the fame that you were looking for in college that you got the money for, you're gonna get more than that. This is a $1 billion industry. Yeah. It's cool. It's cool to make the money you're making now, but you got a chance to make 10 times that much if you do all the right thing.
Right.
But it goes both ways. You can come in and be a bust your first year, get injured, and your career is done. You know what I mean? So don't take nothing for granted. I would tell them, make sure you go out there and continue to work hard. Anything worthwhile is worth working for. And don't think about it. You want it now. I mean, now, just work for it. Don't work for it. Just work for it. It's going to happen. Just be patient and let it happen naturally.
Gotcha.
You remember, you mentioned that you seen Takeo play ball in high school,
yeah.
right? And remember in '98, Georgia native.
Yep.
He told his story. He thought he was gonna get drafted by the Atlanta Falcons playing linebacker.
Now, this is a true story. You can't make this stuff up. Okay, in 1998, remember when I'm watching the draft. Mm-hmm. Okay, obviously at this particular time, I probably was in my 11th or 12th year, somewhere around there. So when you play in a position the same as someone else, you really don't want that person to get drafted in your position, okay? Because the NFL is about youth and about speed, it's about power, and it's about replacement.
And if you play long enough, everybody goes through it.
That's a fact.
And I had a coach named Jerry Glanville that one time he told us that the NFL stands for not the National Football League, but not for long. So don't take it for granted. All right, so we go back to the draft. I'm watching at home, and I know we need a linebacker. Mm-hmm. Two guys came up that I thought we were going to draft. One was I thought we'd get Spikes, and then Brookins.
Keep Brookins.
And it was one of the two. And I had a local reporter who asked me the week of the draft. He said, if you got to pick a linebacker, who would you think? I said, you know what? I like that kid that played down in South Georgia, though. I said, I remember when he played at Washington County, and he came up and played this All-Star game. I followed him at Auburn, and I didn't watch Keith Brookins that much at Georgia Tech, so I thought for a fact that we're gonna pick you.
Hell, I
But
did too.
So we picked Keith Brookins, but you didn't last long on the board because I think you went the very next pick.
Yeah,
That's exactly right. So for you, man, it wasn't like a dream come true though. I would never know what it felt like to be on a stage when you're the first round draft pick though. So was it a dream come true for you?
It was a dream come true, and I mean that's the goal.
Yep.
Like we all want to be able to make it, but at that time when I came out and was drafted, they only really invited the top 5 to 7 guys.
Okay.
So I went 13. Keith Brookins went 12.
Mm-hmm.
So they really kind of cut the cutoff at that time. But I had a draft party, and you could see it on TV.
Right.
But man, it was, for me, the biggest thrill that I got out of that day. Hold on, let me just go back and tell you the story though, because
all right,
the Falcons, they actually called me on the number 10 pick, and they was like, "Hey, if you still there at 12, we're gonna get you."
Wow.
So I'm thinking like, all right,
right at home,
the commissioner gets up
right
with the 12th pick of the draft. The Atlanta Falcons select linebacker, and you could just see me standing up. So everybody from the crib like, yeah, we made it.
Yep.
From out of Georgia Tech. And I was like, man, I didn't go to no damn Georgia Tech. Keith Brookins. And I was like, I said, they didn't even have to call me, man. So I look to my agent, and I'm like, yo, Sims, who got the next pick?
Right.
The phone rung. Dick LeBeau.
Awesome.
How you doing, young fella?
Awesome.
I was like, outstanding, coach. I hope you're here to get me because I'm ready to get off the board.
Absolutely.
But that, from that, but it's I get people to this day too, like homegrown people from Georgia. They'll be like, man, I remember when the Falcons had the opportunity to get you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was all good because Keith Brookins had a hell of a career too.
He did. He really did. He's a good friend of mine too.
Yeah, he had a hell of a career.
He had a good year. Good career.
Imagine if you guys would have played together though. How about that?
That'd have been awesome, huh?
That'd be crazy. Somebody that you looked up to.
Exactly. It'd have been like a true circle. You know what I mean? It'd been a true circle.
True circle. And then also, because I used to talk with Keith about this, I was like, man, how was it playing with Biscuit and Hammer on the same team?
Yeah.
You got 2 icons right there on the same team.
Yeah.
Both cats deservingly could go into the Hall.
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
For real, I mean that, man.
I appreciate it. And I tell you what, man, Brookins was a good guy too, man. One thing I would say, he came in as a top pick, but he was a hard-working dude, man. Hard-working guy. And even when I retired, I spoke to the team, and Brookins was on the front row right there, and he had tears coming in his eyes, and he goes, man, I'm just happy that I got to know you as a person and watch you play. You taught me a lot of stuff. And anytime a young player can say that to a veteran player, it means everything in the world, right? It means everything in the world because we know, like we said earlier, NFL is not for long, and you want to leave some type of legacy. And then when someone look back at you and say, I wanted to be like that guy, it means a lot. And so he said that, and I appreciate that. So, but going back to what we talked about earlier, it would have been awesome to have a teammate. It would have been absolutely awesome.
That would have been awesome.
You would have rookie hazed him?
What's that? Oh, yeah, give him a hard time. He would definitely have to bring me donuts. He would have to sing in the cafeteria. And for all the fans out there who are watching, that's the best part about playing pro sports because you get to act like kids.
Yeah.
And listen, so
you get to humiliate the cats who come in with a little clout.
Exactly.
Like, let me remind you, boy.
And it happened to all of us. We all did it. You did it. I did it. Mm-hmm. I can remember going in Swanee, Georgia, and we had to sing in the cafeteria. And you know how you want to skip lunch? Like, okay, they haven't got me yet, but they're going to get me tonight. So, but they did get me too, and it happened to everybody. And it's a part of history too, to get called out in front of your peers. And, for the average fan, it's like, I think if you go back and choose anything you want to do in life, not many of us get the opportunity to play pro sports, particularly play pro football. It's like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's one of the things that happened to you in life that you just appreciate so much. You play under a lot of stress, a lot of A lot of pain, a lot of pain most of the time. You hardly ever play healthy. You have to produce at a high level, but then you get the joy of the game. There's nothing like winning with your teammates, getting to know someone that's going to be your friend for your life, and someone you can walk into a battle with and say, you know what, I'm going to fight to the end. Yeah. And that person felt the identical same way about you.
Absolutely.
And that's what made pro sports, to me, particularly pro football, an awesome sport. I call it the ultimate game, man. It's the
ultimate team game.
Yeah,
it is. Mm-hmm. So many people you have to depend on in order to get that W.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so many. No doubt about it.
Yeah. You played a long time. Mm-hmm. You left a lasting impact, not only on me, but you talked about some of your other teammates who you were surrounded by. But at the end of the day, it's all about what type of legacy are you leaving? Mm-hmm. Now looking back at it since you're out of the game, what is that legacy that you hope that you left behind for the other ones to come behind you and pick it up and take heed to it?
Yeah, that's a great question, because it made me appreciate how much I love the game. You know what I mean? At this age, I am 58 years old. And I try to think back when I was 18, just want to get an opportunity to play high school, but opportunity to play in college. And then if I play in college, if I ever have the opportunity, I want to play in the NFL for a lot of reasons. Not only my personal reason, for my mom and dad, for my sisters and brothers, for my wife, for my community, for my little city, for the city of Atlanta. And at that time, I wanted to, I was just thankful that the Smith family, just gave me an opportunity, and Mr. Blank later brought out the Smith family. But my legacy that I hope that people can see is that you're looking at a kid who grew up on a dirt road at 5'11". Everybody told him he was too short.
In Griffin, Georgia.
You can't make it. The league is too big for you. And that put a chip on my shoulder. I wanted to do something that I felt that when I looked at the person in the mirror and asked him, can you do it? Do you want to do it? Are you going to listen to the naysay, or are you going to go show people you can play? And that motivated me to do something that it's hard to put in words, because there was many days when you go to training camp and it's 95 degrees and we got 100 guys on the team who are trying to make the football team, and they're only going to keep 56, 57 at that particular time. And I wasn't drafted, and all I wanted for them to do is let me get on the football field, and I'll show you what I can do. So once I got the opportunity, I took it and I ran with it. So when I speak to young people now these days, I want to tell them, when you get an opportunity, and even young ladies, it doesn't matter who you are or what you want to become. All you want is an opportunity. But if you get an opportunity, don't blow it. Make sure you can handle everything and control it. Make sure you do all the right things that you can control. The hard work, the work ethics, doing the right thing, staying away from all the negative thing that can pull you back. So you give yourself a chance to be successful. If you give yourself a chance to be successful, that's the only thing you can ask for. And then you got to go out there and do it. So when people look at me, I wanted them to say, you know what, that guy, he worked hard. He wouldn't stop. He played as hard as he possibly could. He left it all on the football field, and there was no regrets. There were no regrets. I never thought I would ever have the opportunity to play in a Super Bowl. That happened in 1998, and that was probably one of the biggest things sport-wise that happened to me, other than my kids and getting married, I suppose. And it was unbelievable. And I can remember we lost. Our biggest game was up in Minnesota for the NFC Championship, playing against Minnesota and Randy Moss, and we hit rookie year, and we beat them guys when no one thought we could. Chuck Smith
to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Chuck Smith is laying on top of me on the field. Dan Reeves is on stage doing the Dirty Bird. It just like I had the images in my head, man, when Martin Anderson kicked that field goal and we going to Miami. And I can remember on the kickoff in Miami, on the Super Bowl 33, Cher is standing right beside me, and I'm thinking to myself, I cannot believe I'm actually looking at Cher. She's standing right beside me. She's about to sing the national anthem, and then the Jets go by, and the hair on the back of my neck stand up. At this point, on the kickoff, I see all the flashes. Everybody want to get that first flash. As the game goes on, obviously, John Elway had one of his best days. We lose the game. So at the end of the game, this is the biggest part. At the end of the game, I was like torn. I mean, I was hurt because we put so much time, effort, hard work to be the best you can be. You're always going to remember as a champion, but if you don't win, no one's going to remember second. And Justin at that time, it was 1998 season, but it's 1999 now. You know, we played the year. Justin's birthday is in January. He had just turned 9 years old. And he was crying. I can remember him sitting there, his tears coming out of his eye in the family section. And I said, Justin, don't worry about it. It's just a game. I know you wanted us to win. He said, Dad, I'm not crying for me. I'm crying for you. Because I know how bad you want it. You know what I mean? It made me cry. It made me tear up now thinking about it because that's a 9-year-old kid saying that to me. Wow. So that's how emotional the game is. And that's how much hard work we put into the game. So when you look at me now and at 58 years old, I still get teary-eyed over something that happened 30 years ago because there's so much emotion going into this game. So what legacy you talking about? Is that what I mean? Never quit, never give up, works hard, love the game, no regrets. And it's one of the guys that when we had our chance to take advantage of an opportunity, I took it and ran with it. So I think that's the legacy I want to leave.
And that you did.
Falcons Ring of Honor, Immortal.
Thank
Jessie
you, man.
the Hammer Tuggle, man. We appreciate you going behind the match, brother.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for inviting me to.
Appreciate it, bro.
You the man, man.
You the man.
That was awesome, guys. I appreciate you guys.
Yes, indeed, bro.
No doubt.
Third person on the show, fourth with me. Tear up.
Man, awesome.
We knew what's coming.
Y'all doing something right, dude.
Much love, bro. Much love.
Ain't no doubt. No doubt.
Behind the mask.